What is good, everybody? Today we are going to be looking at the 10 worst sneakers of 2022. So for this video, I looked around on some sneaker websites and some YouTube channels to find what people in the sneaker community were, saying were the worst sneakers of 2022. So I looked on places like Complex, Sneaker News, and then there were some YouTube channels. You probably know Seth Fowler and Kais Omar. Basically, I took their lists and found my 10 personal least favorites of all the ones that I saw and compiled them into my own top 10 worst sneakers list. So jumping right into number 10, maybe you expect this to be on here, maybe you don't. Some people love it. Lots of people do because, they're constantly selling, but it's got to be the Panda Dunk Lows. And my reason for this is not because it's a bad shoe. The quality is absolutely terrible, and the market is so saturated with these. It's not even funny. It's making so many sneakerheads pissed off about the constant restocking of this cheap shoe that, they want. It's like Nike wants everyone and their mom to have this shoe. They're accomplishing that. If you look on StockX, they've been on the trending sneaker section for ever since they've released. And the only thing that's changed about them is their price has come way down because of the numerous restocks. But the 2021 pair, there have been a total of 210,000 pairs that have sold on StockX. And that's not even including, other sneaker resale sites like eBay and GOAT and other places like that. The 2022s, which are all of the ones that have released this year, 96,595 pairs of those have sold. And then in the women's version of the 2022s, almost 76,000 pairs of those are sold. So if we add all that up, that brings us to a total of about over 381,000 pairs of these have sold just on StockX. Number 9 is a little higher than I expected it to be when I made this list. And you guys are probably thinking the same thing, like this should probably be high on the list. But number 9 is the Cactus Plant Flea Market Nike collaboration on the, I thought these were Dunks at first when I saw them, but apparently it's a whole new silhouette. They're called like the Flea Ones. The color is the Overgrown. I wouldn't even have to show you a picture of these, and you'll probably know what these are because they are some of the ugliest shoes I have ever seen. And I didn't know until I was watching some of these videos that, you can shave these, and apparently they look better like that. I've never heard of that. I didn't know you could do that. I haven't seen pictures of that either, so I'm not going to say whether that actually does look better or not. But man, these are just hideous. They're just so, the only reason I didn't put them higher is because they actually do have kind of a story behind it. There's a reason for making them this ugly. It's because it's supposed to be inspired after The Grinch, and it makes a ton of sense because it really looks like it's probably the Grinch's foot, and they just shaved some of his hair off and threw it on a shoe. The reasoning for that wasn't enough to kick it off of the list, but it's so ugly of a shoe. I just can't. There's not much to say about it except, why? For me, it feels a little disrespectful because when I think of Grinch shoes, I'm thinking the Kobe Grinches. And we also had some other Grinch shoes come out a week or two ago, the Forum Low Grinches, which I thought were also pretty ugly. The next one is the Union Nike Cortezes. I know the Cortez is like a classic shoe when it comes to sneakers, but they are just not a good-looking pair of sneakers. The midsole just looks like, I don't even know. It's just, the shoe, the only way to describe these is the shoe kind of goes over the midsole. Like, you have the midsole, and then you have the shoe over it. And so I feel like with these, kind of like the Cortez Nike Waffles, how they have just that tiny outsole, I just feel like these are the same. You just feel like you're going to break your ankles. They just look unstable. They look like the outsole is smaller than your foot, is what it looks like to me. I've never seen this shoe in person, so I'm not 100% sure how they look on foot, but I have heard that this is not a very comfortable shoe. So not only are they not comfortable, but they're just ugly. There's nothing good about these. except for that it's a Union collab. But even then, that wasn't even enough to get it to send the price up, because there is no market for these. I'm pretty sure resale on these is lower than retail on most of the colorways, and they're just, yeah, I can see why. It's just not a good looking shoe. The only reason these could have gone up in price and had some kind of market value is because it's a Union collab. I mean, Union is one of Nike and Jordan's most prolific and consistent collaborators, and one of the consumer's favorite. I mean, you have a Union collab, that shoe is selling out instantly, except for these. These did not sell out, and that's pretty self-explanatory why it didn't. But yeah, so number 7. Let's get to the next one. The next one is the Jordan 1 Mid Utility Stash. Not really sure what to say about these. They seem useless to me. The list. I mean, I see like what is that for? Why is that stash pocket there? I don't understand. It makes zero sense. When you have when Travis Scott does his collaborations and has his little pouches, at least they're somewhat hidden. You know what I'm saying? This is just it's hiding a parachute back there. It's huge for no reason. You could have totally had a zipper on the back heel and had some kind of little pouch in there. Who is buying this shoe? Who is buying sneakers for an extra pouch? Virtually no one. So these are just Jordan really screwed up with this. They're awful. They're so bad. There's not much to say about them except why. It makes no sense. And this colorway, especially this gold and silver one, so ugly. It's so bad. Jordan needs to do better. They need to do better. I hope we never ever see another colorway of this release ever again. I'm pretty sure we got this gold colorway, and then there was a black colorway, I think, and a white one. I think that's it, but hopefully that is it forever, because I never want to see another one of these shoes again. And if they do come out with another one, it's not like it can get any better. Even the colorway. The colorway is not going to get any better. What are you going to do? Make it an old school retro color? You're going to throw the bread colorway on here and hope it works? There's nothing good to say about this shoe. And I'm not sure what these feel like. They've got to feel kind of weird having all that extra weight on the back. I don't know. They're just a weird shoe that never should have released. And I don't know who thought of this, but they should be fired immediately, is what I think. It just doesn't make any sense. I feel like the only people who are going to be buying this shoe are people who are weed addicts. Stuffing that stuff in their back pocket and hope the police don't see. You are going to get caught regardless. If a cop sees a big pouch on the back of your shoe, he's going to check it. Guaranteed. I guarantee you he is going to check that. This shoe just boggles my mind why it is even a thing. Like I said, whoever had this idea, fire them immediately. Please. Please. It only gets worse from here. It only gets worse from here, and I don't even want to talk about these next 6 because, man, holy crap. Okay. Number 6 is the Mason Margiela. I think that's his Margiela. I think that's how you say it. The Mason Margiela collab on the Reebok Classic. Now, before I saw Seth Fowler's top 10 worst sneakers of the year, I didn't know this was a thing. And part of me wishes I never watched that video, because this is one of the worst shoes I have ever seen in my entire life. Not just this year, my entire life. And the fact that there's 5 sneakers ahead of this is probably, well, I don't even know if I can. The rest aren't sneakers, they're just shoes. But I don't know. These should probably be higher on the list. I'm not going to lie, but holy crap. Anyway, shout out to Seth Fowler for giving me some inspiration on this video. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure these release in 2 colorways, a black one and then this tan one, which looks especially bad. I mean, they just, from the side, it looks like a normal Reebok classic shoe, but then you twist the shoe to the front, it looks like a butt crack, is what it looks like. Like, why would, it's a little disturbing, I'm not gonna lie. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's what I have to say about this. I mean, they put this little toe slot right down the middle. That can't be comfortable. It can't be. And if you look at it straight on, it looks like your big toe and the toe next to it fit on one side and then the rest go on the other, which has to be very uncomfortable. But even if it is just like other, like, you know, I mean, when you wear flip-flops, you have your big toe and then you have the whatever goes in the middle and then you have your other toes, which I imagine that's how these fit. But look how big that slot is. It's huge. It goes all the way back. I mean, that's gotta be, it's further than the base of my toes, I know that. But holy butt crack, dude. That is just terrible. I can't stop looking at it. It's just so bad. It's so bad. And I'm going to say right now, I messed up on this list with this shoe. This shoe should be swapped, put one up further. The number 5, the one I have on my list as number 5, is a little better than the ones we are seeing right now. These are awful. Like, I don't know. Obviously, it was Mason Margelli's idea. I don't know who at Reebok okayed this, but that person should be fired, and Reebok should never collaborate with this man again. These are awful. Who looks at this and says, oh, I want that? And I don't want to know. I don't want to meet the person who wears this because they're probably homeschooled. No offense to any homeschooled people. But man, these are just terrible. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Number 5, which is actually going to be number 6 on the list, is the New Balance 2002R Mule. These are awful. These are just terrible. When I first saw when these are coming out, I knew it was just a mistake right off the get-go. Like, they're just I imagine they're comfortable. They look kind of heavy for a slide, though. Because that's the whole thing with, like, a mule type shoe. It's just basically a slide, as you can see. But, like, it looks heavy for a slide. And what are you going to wear these with? You can't wear these with anything. I've never seen anybody wearing these. I've seen lots of people wearing lots of different New Balances. I've never seen anybody wear these. Rightfully so. I mean, these are just... They're weird. They're weird, and they seem unnecessary to me. Like, why would you do this? Why wouldn't you just make a basic slide and call it good? Throw the New Balance N on the top or whatever. I mean, you look at other people who are making slides. I mean, the Yeezy slides, that's just a normal slide. Why couldn't you have just done that? It makes no sense to me. And I'm going to be honest, they're not as bad as the rest of these shoes on this list. And the first 5 shoes, the first 4 or 5 shoes, up until the Mason Margell Reebok Classics, let's just say, they're all about the same when it comes to just bad wise. On the bad scale, they're all about the same. So I don't know what to say about these, except they're weird and unnecessary. They're probably comfortable. That's the one pro to these. And the quality's good because it's New Balance and you can just see the quality is good. On screen, the quality looks good. And they look comfortable. They're just a New Balance 2002R with the back half, basically the back upper half cut off and gone and turned into a slide. That's what they are. But man, these next 4, you're about to get slammed with designer ugliness. And it's all Balenciaga. 4 straight Balenciaga crap hole shoes. These are terrible. I can't say enough bad things about these. And they're all about this. The first 3 are kind of the same. They're collaborated with the same person. They're collaborated with the same company, same brand. But number one is the worst shoe. Can you even call this a shoe? We will get there, but it is the worst shoe I have ever seen in my entire life. Ever. I've never ever seen a shoe this bad and also a little disrespectful. I'm not going to lie. They look disrespectful. But we will get to that. But first, number 4, I don't know how much more of this I can take. These are bad. The Balenciaga Croc boots. It's just a rubber boot. It's a rubber Croc boot that, I mean, you could go to Walmart, Cal Ranch, Target, any everyday random product, outdoors, seller, merchant, retailer, whatever. You could find these at for $20-$30 or less. I mean, these are literally just a rubber boot with some little holes poked on the top because it's a Croc. Balenciaga probably, in my mind, makes the worst shoes I've ever seen. I hate designer shoes. Designer shoes make zero sense to me. Why they're so expensive, I don't know. And the retail price for these rubber boots that you could find at Cal Ranch or Walmart or wherever that would sell for probably $20-ish. These retail for almost $700. $700 for the retail price. For resale, it's almost $800. It's north of $800 on the resale market. It's ridiculous. For a pair of rubber boots with the name Balenciaga, it makes zero sense. Lots of people, they pay for the name. You pay for the swoosh, or the Jumpman, or the 3 stripes. People pay for it because they like that company, but they're willing to pay an extra $50, an extra $75 for the name, or for the look, or for the colors. Mostly for the name. Most people, when you see so many Nikes, so many Jordans people wear because of the name, because of the logo. I understand that. But when you look at a pair of Jordans, I mean, they have value. Like they have a value to them. Apparently these do too. Apparently these are worth $800 because people are paying that for them, which makes no sense to me. But when it comes to paying for the name and you want to pay for designer, why are you spending $800 on a pair of rubber boots? Makes no sense. Let's move on. Number 3, another Balenciaga Croc. I'm pretty sure these are called the hard Crocs, I think is what they're called. They're just a platform Croc with like some jewelry or metal or something impressed into them, into the midsole. Now, I've seen a couple celebrities wearing these, and they look terrible. They look awful. They just look terrible. There's not much to say about these that I haven't already said about the other Croc boots. So let's just move on. Number 2, another Croc Balenciaga collaboration, and these are much worse. The Croc Balenciaga heels. Go find a stick, get a Croc, and stick it in the heel. Go get a heat gun and melt it so you can, twist it up, and then stick a stick up there, and boom, you have this. And you're only paying $30-$40 for a pair of regular Crocs, and just warp your shoe, stick a stick in the bottom, and that's this. That's what this is. Now, Balenciaga, for these last 3 shoes, Balenciaga has no branding on them. If you see someone walking around with these, are you going to be like, oh, those are designer Crocs? No, you're not. You're not going to look at somebody who's wearing Croc heels and go, oh, those are designer. Those are worth $500. I'm not actually sure what the market value is on these. Let me check real quick. Oh, $600, $700. Awesome. Last sale, $630. Wow. Yeah, these are selling for about $650. Last sale, $630. People are asking about $650. They retail, get this, they retail for $625. That's just not okay. They are stealing people's money. which I guess is smart. Doesn't make any sense to me why you would go buy this. You could make this yourself at home and make it look the exact same. And you could maybe even make it look better. I'm going to be honest. The execution on this, poorest execution I've ever seen on a shoe, on a designer sneaker, a designer shoe. The two before were pretty bad too. But I mean, there is no kind of Balenciaga branding on this, and it doesn't look like it would be a designer shoe. So the fact that people are paying $630 for a shoe that doesn't even look like a designer shoe, that doesn't look like you're paying for a name, doesn't make any sense. These, not only do they not look like a designer shoe, and they don't look like they are worth that money, they're not worth that. They're just rubber. They're straight rubber. It's just a crock with a stick up it. And I get it. Us sneakerheads, we pay hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars for shoes that probably aren't worth that, but we think they're worth that. So somebody thinks this is worth $630 because they paid that for it. It's sad to think that people really do think that this is worth that. So that said, let's move on to the worst shoe. Oh man, the worst shoe I've ever seen. Number 1, the Balenciaga trash shoe. I believe this is a collaboration with Converse. I'm not 100% sure, but these are without a doubt, the worst shoe I've ever seen. And not only are they a terrible looking shoe, I don't know how many times you can wear this without them falling apart. They look like they've been worn a million times and that they can't take anymore. There's no reason to buy these. Logically, these are the worst purchase you can make when it comes to shoes. These retail for over $1,000 and people bought them. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that somebody would pay $1,000, more than $1,000 for this shoe that is literally trash. That looks like you can do this yourself. Take your Converse, give them to your dog, let him chew them up, dip it in some coffee or whatever to make it look brown, go step in some mud, paint Balenciaga on the midsole, and boom, you have it. You have a homemade designer shoe. And the fact that it's come to this, that you can make your own shoes and make it look exactly like a designer shoe, is ridiculous. And the fact that people are paying for it. Now, not only are these a terrible shoe, these are so disrespectful to the people who do have shoes that look like this and can't afford others. People who are living on the streets and have, beat up Converse. They're wearing a pair of shoes that they've had for 6 years and it's the only shoe they wear every day, and they live outside and they can't afford another pair. These are so disrespectful. You are spending your hard-earned money to go buy a shoe that looks like a homeless person wears them. Why don't you just go give $1,000 to a homeless person and take his shoes? Because that's what these are. These look like a homeless man's shoe. And you can't disagree with me on that. You can. You have the right to disagree with me, but we're probably all thinking the same thing, except for the idiots that bought these. There's not really anything else to say about these, except they are the worst shoe ever. And I already said that quite a few times. Worst shoe ever. I'm going to say it again. The worst shoe I've ever seen in my life. Worst shoe lots of you have ever seen in your entire lives, I'm sure. Some of you probably won't admit it, but it's true. But yeah, this video finally is over. I could not be more happy about this video being over because I was fine the first 4 shoes. The first 10 through 7, I was okay. But those last 6, those were just bad. I lost it. I lost a little bit. But anyway, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. And we will see you in the next video. Peace out.